Cloud. All right, so we're recording. Welcome everybody. Sorry for the delay. My name is Faith. I will be guiding you in learning how to use Google Docs today. Have any of you actually used Google Docs before? I know you have Gmail accounts.
I have.
Okay.
I'm back here because I can't remember what I did, but I got the project done.
And
Okay,
sometimes
so
I
to
use it,
refresh
but I have trouble on my iPad. My computer has had it, so I'll be getting a laptop, but I'm having trouble doing it on my iPad. When people send me things and say, submit it as a Google Doc, I can't get on.
Okay, so let me just, I'll be showing both the computer version and the phone version. I don't have an iPhone, but it's the same thing, same concept.
It's an iPad.
Android. Well, yeah, so it's, I mean,
Yeah,
it's a different operating system. So I have
Operating,
an
yeah.
Android operating system, but the app itself is still the same.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to, then I heard my name. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, there we go. All right, so let me just show you like a brief overview and some tips for the computer one, and then we'll go over the phone one. And I'll you can stop me if you have any questions, or like I'll stop periodically to ask if there's any questions.
Excuse me, Faith, can you
Yes.
just define Google Docs?
Sure. So Google Docs is essentially like Microsoft Word, but it's a Google product as opposed to having to get a license. Hold on a second. There we go. Instead of having to, buy Microsoft Word or Microsoft Office, Google Docs is free to use. And one of the great things about Google is that you get 15 gigabytes of free storage. So whereas we'll talk about next week if you're interested in joining Microsoft Word. Microsoft does have an online version of Microsoft Office where you don't have to buy it. It's not as as complex as, say, if you had bought the program, but it's still usable, and you get 5 gigabytes worth of storage as opposed to Google's 15. So next week, if you'd like to join us for Microsoft Word, you can. So did that help answer the question, Sally, or are you still a little confused?
Hopefully I'll get less confused. So the idea is to save a document. Is that what the idea is?
Yeah, so a Google Doc is, you basically, it's like taking Word with you anywhere you need to go. So let's say if you're writing a journal for yourself, or if you want to keep track of anything like doctor information, or something your kids or grandkids did, or if you need to write a resume or any of those kind of things, anything you would normally do on Microsoft Word, you can do on Google Docs. But one of the great things is it will automatically save, and you can go on another device 3 weeks from now and it'll be right where you left it. You don't have to remember to hit save. It does it automatically. And let's say you're using your laptop and it dies and you really need to finish writing this document, you can go to your phone and finish it there instantaneously. You don't have to worry about having to boot it up and then charge it, boot it up, open up Microsoft Word or whatever word processing service you're using, and then hope it's saved. This automatically does it, and it goes across all devices, and it's much simpler, especially if you're like what I would do in school would be I would start writing my final paper, let's say on the train, and then I would get home and I'd open up on my computer and do all the fine tuning and stuff like that and finish typing. And then maybe I had to go somewhere so I can finish it on my phone, stuff like that. That's one of the benefits of using Google Docs. So let me just show you how to get to Google Docs. If you don't have Google Chrome, you can always, search for Google Docs, and you would click on, not that first one, because this is the about. You can just go straight to here, and it will bring you to Google Docs. Or if you have Google Chrome, and you have a new tab open, you see these three dots here in the top corner next to what would be your, for me, for right now, it is the just our initial, but it could be your profile picture if you have one. There's these bunch of dots here. You click on that. This shows you all of the services you get through Google. You would just scroll down until you find Google Docs. You can click on it here and it'll bring you to the same place. Now, they have a couple of templates. So let's say if you do need a resume or a cover letter or stuff like that, you can choose from one of these. You can look for more. It'll show you a whole bunch of things. Apparently there's something called a pet resume. There's also, you can, if you want to, let's say you want to make a brochure or something, or stuff like that. It has a whole bunch of things that you can use. It also has some legal stuff, job promotion, all that stuff. It's really great. Also has education stuff for like essays and stuff like that. If anybody has knows somebody who's in school and needs help making their essay look a little fancy or anything. Or you can just hit blank. And when you click that, it'll open up a new one. When you start typing, let's say Google Docs computer class. Normally, like if I were to leave, it will pick up, sometimes it's not fast enough. It will pick up the name from here. Otherwise, you can go up here and name it. If you click on it, it will automatically fill that in. If you want it to be something else, you can just like, let's say we just want to call it computer class. Just change it. So we'll do it like that. And then you can, start writing anything you want. It works pretty much the same if you've ever used Word. There are a few things that are different. So like I said, it automatically saves. So it also tells you it was last updated a few seconds ago. You can actually click on this and you can see different versions. So let's say I had written a whole bunch of stuff and then my cat walked across the computer and deleted everything and it saved. And I didn't realize that because you also closed the tab. So now I lost everything and I can't hit undo. I can just version history and I can see restore this version.
It happens.
So that's one great thing about Google Docs as well. Sometimes, because I've had it happen, or it will just, let's say if it crashes and it doesn't save this way, it automatically saves, or I can look at the version history and I can restore it if that's a problem. So let's see, are there any questions or anything you want me to you have something you like normally doing on a doc that you want me to look at, or I can just go through pretty much everything. It's up to you.
How did you get to recent history?
So what I was just doing is, you see up here where it says last edit was 2 minutes ago?
Yes.
I can click on that. You see how it has a little black thing that pops down that says open version history?
Yes.
I can click on that and it'll bring us to the version history.
Okay.
So if I didn't want that, I can restore this version, which was blank. And I would just hit restore version.
Okay.
If you finished.
Yes.
The documents are stored on OneDrive. I mean, it's really not on the physical hard drive on your laptop or desktop, or is that correct?
Yes.
What
So
are they
it is
stored on?
stored on Google Drive. OneDrive is connected to Microsoft actually. So, but it is stored on Google Drive. So I'm going to just show you real quick. That would be this symbol right here. And it would bring you to your drive, and everything you have is stored here. You can store multiple things. What you can do, if you want it stored on your hard drive once you're done, or if you want it just as a backup, just in case something happens, there is a way to download the document onto your hard drive. So what you would do is you would go to File, and you would go to Download, and you can choose how you want to download it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you are on a computer that has Microsoft Word and you prefer using Word, but
No.
you just need it on Google Docs just in case to travel around, you can download it as a Microsoft Word document. And then, or you can do any of these. So, here, let me just, so you can see, and it most likely, depending on how you have your computer set up, it'll go into your downloads, and then you can just click on it and it'll open right up to.
How far is this class going into the, well, I'm interested in the, aside from the word processing, okay? And the project that I was doing, I had a PDF document, okay, which I couldn't edit. I didn't want to go out and spend money for the PDF editor, okay? And then I came across, I guess, Google Docs, which I was actually able to, I guess I don't know, I downloaded it. I guess I scanned it, or the PDF, I had it, and then I put it out on the, I guess, the OneDrive. And then I was able to edit it just as I would, and then save it, whichever, as a PDF or as a doc or.
So what you could do is there is a way, when you go to Google Docs, well, not necessarily if you go to Google Docs, you can upload it from your Drive.
Right.
So here in Drive, you can hit new.
Right.
And you can upload a file. So you can upload the PDF. And then when you click on it, it will pop up. Let me see. Can I open this one? Let me just, all right. So say like this is the PDF, right?
Yeah.
I can, up here, it'll give me the option. You have a couple of options. You can open with Google Docs, which will convert it to a Google Doc, which then allows you to be able to edit it. Although sometimes some PDFs get a little distorted. So you might have to work with it a little bit.
Right.
Like, as you can see, the pictures aren't here, but if it's like a standard PDF, it should be fine. And you should be able to edit, edit it.
Right.
Can you copy and paste?
I think you can.
Yeah, you can, like, if you also have a PDF file, you can, some of them allow you to copy and paste it, and you can put it into Google Docs or Microsoft Word, and then you would just download it again as a PDF if wherever you're using it, wherever you need it for, it requires it to be a PDF. That's one workaround. You could also, if it was emailed to you, you can, it will look the same way. It will open up like this in your email as a preview, and you can select to open it as a Google Doc, and it will do the same thing. It will upload it to your Drive and then convert it to a Google Doc so you can edit it.
I don't want to get ahead of you. As I say, I played around with this, and I did one project with regarding to what I started saying with the PDF. I was actually sharing it, the document, with my son, who was in Jersey. So we were both actually working on it, him from his computer in Jersey and me from, so we were seeing the one document, but whatever he was doing, I could see, and whatever I was doing to the document. So
yeah, that's another great thing about Google Docs is that you can see up here next to where your logo, your user ID and stuff like that would be, you can hit share, and then you can share it with anybody, because, and you can change this to anyone with link, or you can change it to restricted, so anybody
secure,
like only the people you added can look at it. So this way it makes it more secure, just in case someone hacks in, like, I don't know, somebody you accidentally forward it, or your son accidentally forwards the email to the wrong person, but they don't have, you didn't personally add them, so they can't access it or something like that.
Now, do you have to have Google Chrome for this?
No, you can use Firefox, Internet Explorer,
I have
Microsoft
Safari.
Edge.
I have
Safari,
Safari.
yeah, you can use, yes. All of this works. I just like using Google Chrome, and it's just easier to work with. But you can do here, I'll show you. So this is Microsoft Edge, which is the new version of Internet Explorer.
I'm not getting Microsoft. I have old
Yeah, I
Word,
know, but
whatever
it's
was
the
on,
same
I am
thing.
not getting it.
Yeah, so Google Docs, you would do the same thing. It's the same as the internet, so you can do the same thing. You would just sign in and all that stuff.
Okay. So, but the question I had is, I belong to a women's group, and we each had to submit articles, and it was Google Docs. Everyone's submitting theirs, and when it comes to my place and my name, I could not submit it. So I can't figure out why. I kept clicking on and I couldn't submit it. Can you explain that to me?
How are you submitting it? Was it something that you would upload a file to, or?
You know, that's probably what I don't know.
Yeah, I would need to know how they do it.
created it separately and sent it as a PDF to the person who was putting it together. But, you know, it's kind of nice because like the other women might like to have seen what I wrote because I could see what they wrote, etc. So I'm thinking I probably had to, I thought I could just type it in right where it, you know, it had the blank line, but I guess not. I guess that's where I had to create the Google document, name it, and then type the name into the blank line. Is that how
You would
it
have,
works?
well, in that case, you would have to link it. So like I said, you would go to share. You can also, what am I looking for? You can copy and paste the link to the Google Doc. And you could put that in that line and that will bring the people to your thing. It just depends upon how it's set up.
Yeah, it's just everybody's report appeared except mine.
Yeah,
so
so
no, there were no
be
links. The whole report was there. So
yeah,
was
so
kind
since
of
I don't know like
embarrassing.
the logistics of it, I don't know.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
No, that's I'm sorry, I couldn't help you with that. So let me just go through some of the stuff that's up here for, I don't know if anybody else has really seen Google Docs. Let me just go through it real quick. And then I'll take some more questions and maybe we can diverge. So just going across right here is the undo button, the redo, print is over here. It's not, sometimes with other word processing services, it's normally under file, but for Google, it's always over here. This is spelling and grammar. Paint format, I don't really know what the point of that is. I've never had to use it. You can change how big things are over here. Normal text, you can change it here, change the font, size, all that. We know what these are, highlight. This is to insert a link. One of the things that I find kind of important is line spacing. So sometimes I don't like having 1.15. You can change it to single. Some documents, if you're working in it, it will have a space after paragraph and it messes up your lines and stuff like that. So if that was the case, this would say remove space if you wanted to. You can highlight. So let's just say I'm just gonna write some gobbledygook right now. Right, so this is what it is right now. I don't like it like that. I want to remove space after paragraph, and this will bring it back to what it's supposed to be. That's if you want to like write a journal or something, or you don't want it so big, and that's why you had it on single space, or it was required for single space and stuff like that.
Where is that menu item?
So it's right here with these 3 lines and the arrows pointing up and down. It's called line spacing.
Oh, it says line spacing. Okay.
So you can change it, like let's say if when you were writing your work for whatever you were doing, they say, I want it we need it double spaced, so it's just easier for us to read and stuff like that. That's, you would, highlight, you would go here and double space. But if we also had the add space after paragraph, that makes it a little bit huge, especially if you have a page requirement of like, let's say you only can have 2 pages double spaced and you want to be able to write more. Always remember to hit remove space after paragraph and you get a whole extra line or so. This would be for indent if you had it. This is a number list, bullet list, and then this is to clear the formatting. So let's say if you change something and you didn't realize you did, you can clear it and it'll reset it. Or if you just didn't want it to be the way it was, you can just, hit clear formatting and it would do it that way. So you might notice also these things here on the side. So this is a great tool for when you're sharing documents. If you don't want to edit the document, let's say, David, you were talking about sharing with your son, I think you said,
Right.
you don't want to edit the document itself, or you had a question and you can't really be on the phone at the moment. This here, you can add a comment. So you can say, I don't understand what this means. What happened here? You can say, what is this, right? And you can leave the comment and the other person can come in and respond to your comment. And then once you guys work together, you can hit mark as resolved and it'll go away. Another thing is, let's say you spelt this wrong and it wasn't supposed to be blah, 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 blah. You want to suggest an edit. You might want to say, okay, this should have been like, hello, my name is, I can't type this afternoon. My name is, right? It's the same kind of thing, but it's a suggestion. Let's say like.
Does it do spell checking?
Yes.
Now that you brought up the.
Yeah, no, didn't you
issue.
say that in the beginning?
Yes, so
I
right now,
missed
even though
it.
I have.
The A check. Is that the
Yes,
spell
so.
check? Yeah.
Okay.
Let's say, let's write something. So I just hit enter twice, right? So it's right now because I hit that suggesting thing. It put these green lines in. So it's saying, hey, you should, I'm saying you should add this, but it doesn't actually change the document. And over here, it says replace lowercase a with capital A. So it's suggesting it. It didn't actually change it. So let's say if you're working with somebody else or somebody's critiquing or just proofreading something you wrote, they can put it into suggesting mode, which I'll show you again how I did it in the first place. And it won't change what you wrote. It will just make a suggestion. So you can say, no, that's what I meant to put. I want that lowercase a there. So I can hit reject suggestion. Oh, I did want this paragraph space. So I will add the paragraph. I will take your suggestion. You can do it like that. And so I'll show you again how I got there, but right now it says suggesting. Before it said editing. So if you want to go back into editing, after suggesting to somebody and they said, okay, yeah, this is fine, you would just click on this and you would go to the little pencil where it says editing and it will get rid of the suggesting options. So let's say we're going to add good afternoon. This is a I'm gonna just do something that doesn't make sense. So it as you can see, just like with Word, it gives you this saying, hey, this doesn't look right. I didn't put an N here. So it will suggest, okay, you want to change it to this? Yes, I do. I spelled this wrong. Do I want to suggest? Do I want to use the suggestion? Yes, I do. And then click it and it'll change it for you. Also up here, so let's undo it real quick. I'll click this and it will, if you click it here, it will bring it up here, just like you would in Microsoft Word if you're used to using that. Say, hey, you want to change it to this, accept, same thing. And then you can always turn this off so it's not in your face the entire time you're writing your, whatever you're writing. So, and just to remind you, so you go over here and you can hit suggesting, or if you have highlighted it, remember over here, you can either add a comment or this green one with, it looks like a word bubble with a pen and a line behind it. This is suggest edits. So maybe I want to suggest something. It brings us into suggesting, and then you can make a comment and all of that. So I'll put it back. And then if you accidentally, just in case, so you guys know, this arrow over here hides everything. So it hides all that the file and all of that stuff, and you're like, I don't know what happened, just look for this down arrow and it'll bring it back. So you can go back to file, edit, view, insert, format, and all that stuff. Are there any questions before I go into up here? Or do we think we're good? Okay. Sally, Ben, do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions. Thank you, Faith.
Okay. Sally, are you all right? Okay, well, I'll assume everything's okay until you say otherwise. So I'll just move on real quick. Let me just see. Okay, so there's a couple things up here. You might have also noticed there's a star. So let's say if you want to be able to find this really easily later, it's an important document, you can star it. And when you go to your drive, you can look at the starred documents and it'll be right here. So instead of looking through everything or recents, you can look through the starred and you know that's important. You can always unstar that if you don't want it to be important anymore. You're done with whatever that was. This you can also move. So let's say if you have folders in your drive, you can move it to a different folder. You can create a new folder and say, this is my new journal. So this is day 1. So I can make a new folder here and I can label it journal. And then I would hit good. And then I would say move here. So that way it helps organize you a little bit better when you're looking through your Google Drive. And then this button right here just tells you the document status. So basically it's telling you, dismiss this so you can see. All changes are saved to the drive. There is an option where you can make it ready for offline use. So if you lose internet connection, you can't edit the document. But if you turn on the offline status, you will be able to access your documents just like you would if you had it stored on your hard drive. You can still edit it if you don't have internet access. So just in case the power went out, so you lost internet, but you still need to work and your computer is still fine, or your computer is still charged and you can still work, this will allow you to do so. Let's see. Let's say we're doing something that's kind of like same format as something else you've done in the past. Another thing I like to use a lot is make a copy. So instead of having to write the whole thing over again, I can make a copy and I can rename it, but you can leave it as this for now. If you have it shared with somebody, you can share it with the same people so they can see the copy as well. You can also copy the comments and suggestions just in case you want to leave one as draft 1 and then make a copy and do draft 2 and change things instead of using the restore version and stuff like that. David, do you have a question?
Yes, back on just the offline process. Does that mean that there's a shadow of or a copy of the file actually written out onto your hard drive? I mean, how does that work? I mean, is it in 2 places? Is it on OneDrive and also on your?
No, let's say like I was saying, let's say the internet went out and you were in the process of working on this document and you have no internet connection. You could still continue working on the document if it is saved, like if you have prepared the document as an offline document. So when the power comes back and the internet comes back, it will automatically save. If you lose power and internet, it will just disappear, essentially. To download it onto your hard drive, to have a separate copy on your hard drive, you would have to do the download. Or let's say, like if you were using your phone and you are in a and you're in an area with no service, you can still work on the document on your phone or tablet because it will be on the app and you'll still be able to access and edit it, as opposed to the others that haven't been it is like temporarily stored, but it's not really on your hard drive is what I'm trying to say.
Yes, so you actually have to, I mean, once you worked on a document, so it's on OneDrive if you left it, but you would also have to say make available offline. I mean, is that then the
So yeah,
copy?
this would be specifically like if the power went out or if you have no
Yeah.
service or something happened,
Hmm.
then you can, let's turn it on. So this
Oh.
way, if you don't have internet access or you had to turn,
Right.
if you're on the plane and you were working on it and you had to put your computer and all that stuff on airplane mode, your phone on airplane mode, and you had no Wi-Fi on the plane, you could still, if you had it up, you can still work on it.
Hmm.
As opposed, it won't reload and try to try to
Hmm.
connect to the internet. It will be available to use offline.
Okay.
Yeah, but if it's not on OneDrive, you can still access it. I am not getting word.
Yeah, no. So it's not on OneDrive, it's on Google Drive.
Right, yeah,
So you can still access it
yeah.
with that, like that's basically it's the same thing. It's available on Google Drive. And if you are in a place with no service, you'll, especially if you're using your phone or your iPad, you'll be able to access it because it is on the app and it's still available, as opposed to it needing to load and basically go out to the internet and say, okay, let me retrieve this. It's kind of like temporarily stored there.
Yeah, so if you're saving it on OneDrive, then aren't you taking up more space on your computer or storage?
No, OneDrive is
Liquid.
it is also, it's like the cloud. So
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
even though when you
I don't have
download,
OneDrive. I don't intend to get
Yeah.
it.
Well,
even if you
you'd get
download,
it.
It's
Yeah.
hard enough to find stuff as it is.
yeah, so you can still, like, if it's on your OneDrive, you can still also access it. Like if we talk about next week, you can access it if you stored it to there on the internet, if you don't have Word downloaded onto your computer. So it's kind of the same thing, but they're just two different companies. So anything you do on Google Docs will not be on OneDrive, it will be on Google Drive, but it's the same concept.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, so let me just, so another way to find version history is you go here. You can rename it from here if you want to. You can move it to trash. You can look at document details if you want to. You can change the page setup. Let's say we want it landscape instead, or you want to change the margins or the page color. Let's say I want an orange one. We'll change it and it'll change it like this.
Nice.
Okay. So this is how you would change the page setup, is go to file. Let's say if you want to make, instead of doing a document, maybe you want to make a certificate or something, you can change it like that, or however you want to do it, or change the margins. And you can apply it to different, not the whole document, you can do selected content. And then if you really want an orange landscaped one with the same margins, you can set that as a default, but I don't think any of us do. So I'm gonna just put it back. All right, so I'm just gonna edit. It's the same, it's with edit, it's really just the undo, redo, and if you can cut, copy, and paste here if you don't want to right click or hit Control V, C, or X, as you see here. This might actually be helpful, paste without formatting. Sometimes you're copying and pasting from somewhere and you don't want it to be like all disjointed. Like let's say if you had it in Arial 11, but what you're copying is like a title from the New York Times, so it's really huge font and it's like a different font size, different font in general, it will paste it just the same as it is here. So it will change it to the Arial and then the 11th, which or whatever you have it as. And then another great one is find and replace. So you can look for, let's say I'm writing a formal paper and I can't use the word I. So I would look for I, and then we would want to change it with one, let's say. Some people do that. So then it would do it like that and it would replace it. But I don't think I have I. Oh, That's interesting. So it replaced it with phones. So, but it's the same concept. We just got to make sure it's not like, not the letter itself, but like the word. You can change that by, you know, match case or match this. So we're going to undo that. And then view, you can change it to print mode, print layout. You can just change the mode here like you were over here, but you can do it here, it's easier. Maybe you want it full screen, or you want an equation toolbar if you want to do math. You can add new equations. And then you can show section breaks. So like if there was another page, it would show the break. Let me just turn that off for now. And then insert, so you can insert an image. You can either upload from the computer, or you can actually search from the web over here on the right side. So let's say we want a picture of kittens. It will look, and instead of having to go out and go into Google itself, it will search Google for you over here.
Nice.
You can also add a table if you need. It's the same kind of deal as you would with Microsoft Word. You can insert a drawing. So let's say this is what you would use. Let's say if you want to have side by side, and you want to just, hold on one second, I gotta move you out of the way. You want like a text box, let's say. This is how you would insert a text box. So you would draw your text box here, and then you would type here. And then you would save and close, and then you'd be able to move this around your document. Let's say if you had an image and you wanted to label something on the image, this is how you would do it. You would have to do it from here, as opposed to, there is no text box option unless you go through drawing. I'll just get rid of this, save and close. You can also insert a chart, so like a graph, a horizontal line, footnotes if you want, special characters, equations. You can work on your headers and footers here. Let's say if you want page numbers, do that. Or sorry, you can do page numbers here, start at 1, show on the first page, and then you would apply. And let's say we're just going to, I know I'm making it a mess, but we go to the next page. I accidentally made it page 11, but so it's page 12 now, so it will do that for you. And then shows you the breaks, page numbers, all that stuff. You can bookmark it. You can put a table of contents. That's it for the inserting. Formatting, this is basically the same as this bar up here. You can change the paragraph styles, line spacings. Again, this is the format you really don't need to use because it's all up here for you. Tools, here's another way to get to spelling and grammar. I'm sure it's not moving. You can also make a personal dictionary if you want. Let's say if there's certain names of people and you're tired of it saying, oh, this is spelled wrong, you can add that to your personal dictionary. You can do the word count, like I want to know how many words. Let's say words, pages, characters, all that stuff. And you can mark it so it shows you the entire time. It'll be down here instead. And you can review suggestion edits. You can compare documents. This is new. This is actually really, it's more for, I guess, teachers. You can compare documents to make sure your students aren't, sharing their documents and trying to get away with submitting the same thing. You can also create citations, which I gotta see where that went. So let's say you can change it to MLA, APA, or Chicago, and you would put in the source and access by, and then all the information you need. Let's say print, and so then instead of having to go to a generator or having to figure out how to do it on your own, it's here for you. And then explore. it's kind of, it kind of just like, let's say you wrote about, I wrote afternoon, so it's showing you, okay, this is what you can explore different things. Like if you had a document, you don't know what some of the words are, or you're like, I don't know what this is or what this looks like, and then it helps you, it can show you pictures and stuff like that. Sorry, I'm keep moving you guys around because things are all over the screen. You can look at linked objects, your dictionary, you can translate the document. So let's say if you got a document in a different language, you'll be able to translate it. This one's really cool. You can voice type. So if you don't want to have to type it, you can speak it to Google and it will transcribe it. It's not always very accurate. So don't think that this is the like the replacement. You might have to go back and fix some things, but it's definitely helpful to get your thoughts down if you're writing something. This is
just linked objects.
yes.
Are they physical? I mean, is it like inserting a picture? Is
So
that
the
what a
linked
linked
object-
object is, or is it something?
What is it?
Well, it depends
Different.
how you do it. So I opened up linked object and it shows, this would show you like if I had hyperlinked something.
Right,
it
yeah,
would be here. So let's say I want to hyperlink class with, you know, this link right here. So I'm going to hyperlink it like so. I'm going to paste it,
oh.
apply.
Hmm.
So now when we refresh it right here, if it works. Oh no, I see what it is. This would be something else. This is the hyperlink. So what this is, sorry, the linked objects, I didn't read it right.
Okay,
This would be find linked objects here. So you can view and update charts, tables, slides, or drawings that are linked to other files. So let's say if you were writing something and you linked a file, one of your other files to this, that would be here. So let's say I want to link this here.
sure.
I can look for like this, or where is it? I want
Like-
to, should be able
So-
to. Let me just think of I'm trying to find, I knew how to do it and now I'm blanking on it. But there is a way to insert documents into this, and I, for some reason, I'm not remembering how to do it. But this is what that would be, the linked objects.
Hmm.
I'm trying to see. In the meantime, while I'm figuring that out, is there any other questions?
So this
Just
is
a
like,
comment. Most of these menu items are very similar to Word. I haven't used Word in a long time. So it's pretty clear to me.
well,
Yeah, I'm
You know,
trying to
across
remember.
the top, yeah.
Yeah, most of it's pretty similar. There's just only a few things different. I really don't remember how to link a
I like a
document.
link address. Is that what it is? I
Yeah,
mean,
so you can do a link address, but there's a way in Google Docs where you can actually link a document itself to it without doing the link address. And is it this? I think, yeah. We'll undo this, remove. I will remember eventually. And then you can also add on stuff. So let's say if EasyBib, which is also another way to do citations and stuff like that. There's other things like if you need, what was this, Google Translate, for if you don't want to use it the other way, it's a little bit different. but yeah. I will try to figure that out. And if you guys are here next week, I'll just do like a brief, like, oh, so this is how it's done.
Mhm.
But I just, for the life of me, cannot remember how to do it.
Google
it. I was Googling it. That's not telling me.
Welcome to the club.
it.
I used to know how to do that.
Let's see. They want to. I guess maybe try it this way. Let's see. I'm gonna link this here. Yeah, so here's the link, and it'll bring up a little preview sometimes, or you can, if you do this, it will open it up in a new tab. Let's see if it put it there now. I don't think it did. Yeah, but when in doubt, you can use the use a link. So like what I just did right now was I was on one of them, I right clicked it and I can hit get link if I didn't want to do go and hit share, and I can get the link and copy it here, and then I would be able to do what I was doing. Let me just see, move you real quick. Linked objects. Yeah, no, I don't remember.
All right. Yeah, tables.
That's how. Oh, okay. It's mostly for stuff from like if you did a spreadsheet on Google Sheets and then you made a chart, that's how you do it. Okay, that makes more sense. Or a slide or stuff like that, as opposed to a document, which I was doing. Okay, that makes more sense. Sorry about that. All right, so with the last couple of minutes, let me just show you real quick how to do Google Docs on your phone. So I'm going to just join in from my phone so you can see how to use the app. So I'm going to stop screen sharing and admit myself. And then give me 1 second. Hold on. I forgot I did that. Hold on. Okay, is this looking? No, not really. Katie, are you there?
Space you need it?
Yes, I need you to make my other one a co-host.
Okay,
Thank you.
no problem.
Okay, thank you. All right. All right, so we're gonna share screen. Okay, so you would go to if you don't have the app already, you would go to the Play Store or the App Store. You would just search Google Docs. I'll just do that real quick. So this is Google Docs right here. I already have it installed, but you would hit install and it will load, and then you would hit open once it's done. And then it will bring you to, so this is what I was working on. So this is all of like the documents you would have. This is, you were log into the email that you were using. This one's a different email than what I was using on the computer. So it has some different stuff. So let's say, so I do crochet programs. I want to edit my crochet thing. I can come here. Let's choose the mason jar cover one, right? So I will open it up. This is what I will see when I first get there. If I want to edit it, I would have to hit this little pencil in the bottom right corner, and then I'll be able to edit things. It's not as simple as doing it on the computer, but if you need to work on it, you can. So you'd be able to change bold, italics, underline, the color, all that stuff, the paragraph, like if you want it on the left, center, right, or justified. You can also add bullets if you need to. You can also go over here and you can have a little bit more details with it. So you can, this is maybe like the top bar that we saw on the computer. So you can change the style, the font, the size, color, highlight color, or you can clear the formatting. You can also change the paragraph from here. This will allow you to edit the line spacing if you need to. You can turn that off. You can also look at the comments that have been left behind on your document from here, and you can reply to them, or you can look at where they are based on the document and edit something if you need to. And then these three dots over here, you can change the layout, do the print layout. Sometimes you want to be able to see what it looks like if it was printed and it's just easier to read. So you would change it to print layout, and this is what it would look like. So it's not so much as much scrolling as it was. You can also change it to suggest changes, which is just like online. So if you're reading somebody else's document and you're like, you ran out of time, so that you're doing it on your phone instead of editing directly on it, you can also do the suggesting as well. So you would just highlight something, add comments, or if you were going to change something, let's say I'm going to edit this, it's the same concept. You can also look at the document outline. Like mine has a document outline because I have it split up in sections. It will automatically do that for you. I didn't tell it to do this. Oops, I turned off print layout. You can also do the same thing with the Explorer. So if you want to add a picture, instead of going to Google, screenshotting it or downloading it, you can just do it through here, and you can search the web for pictures and stuff like that. Page setup, you can change, same thing as before. Spell check would be highlighted if anything was wrong, but there's nothing spelled wrong according to Google at the moment. You can also do your word count on the phone. It'll show you here, but you can't leave it up the entire time like you did online. You can share and export here. So this is where you can save it as, you can still save it as a Word doc, a PDF, or anything like that, and then email it out if you need to. If you don't have access to your computer and you need to do it right away, it's still possible. You can also share it with people, or you can manage who you shared it with. Let's say I don't want my coworker to be able to edit it anymore. I can change it to viewer only if I wanted to, right? Same with like if you shared it with other people and you don't want them to be able to touch it anymore, you can change it as well. You can also send a copy. You don't have to send the original. That's what this one is. You can, if you're able to, I know iPhones have an easier, well, Apples in general have an easier time. You can print from your phone, iPad, or your iPad directly. And again, you can also make a copy of it so it's separate and you're not touching the original and you want to work on another one, so you don't change the what you had the first time, and like maybe it's a copy and you want to do something else with it and edit it and have it as a different draft. You can also change it here as offline. This is the offline thing is more useful when it's on your phone or tablet, because then it's stored temporarily on the app but not on your phone taking up space, but you're still able to access it even if you don't have internet access. You can also star it just like we did before, so it's easier to find. You can look at details and then help and feedback. And again, with the add-ons, you can add like Google Translate on there or any of those other apps that you saw. So yeah, there's not as much as you can't do as much with your phone, but you're still able to get the basics done if you need to just write it down and draft it out. And then you can edit it more in detail when you get to a computer. Did this help you, Joanne? Because I know you were asking about how to do it on the iPad.
Yeah, the iPad. I'll just try it on the iPad because I do have, what do I have on here? I forget which one. I have Google Drive on here because people have sent me, Google documents, and that's where I find them, but I never downloaded the
Yeah, so to be able
Google
to,
Docs.
yeah, to be able to edit the documents, you would need to download Google Docs. But Google Drive at least allows you to open it as a Google Doc and look at it. You just can't edit it until you have Google Docs
Yeah.
downloaded as well.
And that's probably why I couldn't add anything on there.
That might have been it. Yeah, that could be a possibility. Did anybody else have any questions about the phone version or more questions about the the browser version? Okay, well, so to finish out the document, we just hit the check and it will put it back in view mode only, so you can't edit it as you were before. You would have to hit down here again to be able, well, I have it in suggesting mode, I'm going to turn that off, to be able to edit it again. So let's say if your screen, which will close that, hold on. If you close your screen, it would bring it back to, it won't let you edit it automatically. It will change it normally. So you would just have to hit the edit button again. And that's pretty much it here. That's how you add people if you want to. And that's pretty much it for the online one, the app one. There's not much more you can do with the app than you can with the online one, the computer one.